guys, welcome back. Okay, so this is going to be a maybe third time I've recorded this video, so bear with me, I'm gonna try. Okay, you guys know me as a digital planner, a content creator for digital planning, but some of you might not know that I actually am a photographer. So I've been doing photography since about 2006 ish and doing it legitimately since about 2010. So, or 12, 2012. Um, so I thought it would be fun to come on here just to break it up a little bit and go over my favorite, mostly portraits that I've taken in the past couple of years. So, one thing before we jump into it that I kind of want to point out is that going through my images for this video, I have really noticed that my photography style and my art style are pretty similar. You'll probably see what I mean as we go through this. So let's go ahead and jump in. So this photo was actually a challenge. One of my friends had challenged me to create an image of myself, the opposite gender. So I did all the styling. I did obviously the image. I had a self timer, and this was really fun. So I want to say it was 2 months after I took this photo. It was October. So I changed this to my profile picture on my Facebook page. So yeah, that is me, and that was really fun. So this one is one of the few in here that's not a portrait. This was taken in the mountains in Arizona on my son's third birthday camping trip. This was right before we moved to Minnesota, about 6 months before we moved to Minnesota. And we had started a small fire in a fire pit right at the entrance to our camp. And I was down here on the floor just taking photos. This was the only photo that I got of the actual fire, because once I saw this, I was like, nailed it, done. I love how it looks like a little fire elemental. Like it's got the legs, the arms, the head. I love this photo. This one was also in Arizona. I used to go bike riding every day at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would always see in my subdivision these huge spider webs. You can't tell how big this is by the photo, but it was easily like 3 or 4 feet across. It was gigantic. So one day I put my camera in my backpack and brought it with me on the ride, because I was like, if I don't do this now, I'm never going to get this opportunity again. So I think it was 3 consecutive days I took photos of these cobwebs, and this was one of my favorites that I got. This is where the similarities in my styles start to express themselves. This photo was taken, I want to say 2 years ago, here in Minnesota. This is my living room. I took a photo of the light bulb on my coffee table, and then I took a photo of my son separately and did a composite in Photoshop. So basically, the concept of this one is like how light bulbs tend to signify like ideas. Like in cartoons, when someone gets an idea, you see a light bulb above their head. So I thought it would be fun to have him with his book in the light bulb. This is another one that shows my eye, I guess. This is my son again, and just playing with lighting. You'll see a lot of these are like either really dramatic or really like pow photos, because I experiment a lot more when I'm taking photos for myself rather than when I'm taking photos for a client, because I don't want to be fumbling with equipment and looking like I don't know what I'm doing when someone has hired me to take their photos. So this is my son again. I had taken this photo of the nest by itself in a planter in my living room. And this is a fake tree that I think we still have it out there. But I got the nest in the craft store in the miniatures section, like for dollhouses. And then I took the photo of him separately and again composited in Photoshop. This is me. This is 2018. So this was right like maybe 2 weeks before I shaved my hair fully, because bleaching it so many times had damaged it so much that I was like, I'm just going to start over. I'm going to just get rid of all of it. I'm not going to straighten it. I'm not going to, bleach it. And this is where I'm at now. This one was in October of 2019, I think. And this is another, obviously, composite because I took a photo of the empty chair and then I took a photo of Caleb sitting in the chair. And Lachlan was here, but he was taking the fabric and tossing it when I counted to 3. And then I obviously edited him out of the photo. This one is not a composite. This is actually done with a slow shutter speed. I had seen this recipe on Pinterest for how to make a gelatin heart for either like special effects, like if you're doing, like a movie or, any, I don't know what other applications this would have, to be honest. But so I tried it and it obviously turned out really good. So then Caleb is standing there with a fork and I had him stand still and then I pushed the shutter button and the shutter stayed open for like 3 seconds and I had him slowly move away, which gives the ghost-like look of the image. This was taken in 2019, the beginning of 2019. This is me with the boys. I took this myself and it is one of my absolute favorite photos. I love this picture. This is me again. I want to say this is before the blonde. I think this is before the blonde. I was experimenting with clamshell lighting here. That's why you can see that I have 2 separate highlights in my eyes. But, yep, no, I'm not nude. I am wearing a tube top. So this one I included because for how much setup this photo took, it better have turned out as epic as it did because this was a lot of work. So I had this gray backdrop, which is what these curtains are here. I only had one. I had one panel and I hung it up and I took a photo of it. And then then I went up to it and I like shook it to move the fabric so it didn't look like the same curtain. And then I hung up a black backdrop behind it. Had a chair between them, so it was black backdrop, chair, gray curtain, and then my flash was on the chair, my camera flash. And then I had Caleb, who was wearing the Pikachu suit. He had a tub of baby powder, and then it was behind the curtain, so you can't see it in the photo, but I would count to 3, he would go at the, just directly into that space, and then hide the powder and grab the curtain, and then I would fire the flash, take the photo, and then it would light up the powder. And then there's also a secondary light above him. But this was a lot of work to set up, but I really do like how it came out. So this is Caleb again playing his guitar. This one I like because it looks a lot more like if you could see the behind the scenes of this photo, it is not this dramatic and it is not this epic. He's literally sitting in my living room in front of a thin width backdrop. It was like maybe 4 feet across, maybe. And it's just, a little bit above him and he's sitting on it. You can see at the bottom of his toes right here are curled up around it. And then there was one light way above him near the ceiling. And then when I took the photo, took it into post, I extended the background so it was all dark, so it looks like he's just sitting, by himself in this huge dark space. So this is Lachlan, and that little Cabbage Patch baby in the dryer there is Oscar. That has been his favorite toy since he was like a year old. We still have Oscar. We're never going to lose Oscar. But Oscar occasionally takes a ride in the washing machine because it gets gross. So I wanted to get photos of Lachlan with Oscar for obviously when he gets older. So he'll just have these to remember. So I'll have them to remember. But I have so many of him just holding onto Oscar or sleeping with Oscar. I was like, let's do like a more storytelling photo. So I put Oscar in the dryer with some blankets and then put my flash behind him pointed upward at the top of the dryer barrel because it's all white in there. So it's going to throw light all over. And then I had Lachlan on his knees looking in. And when the when the flash went, it lit his face and hands just perfectly. I love this photo. So this is Caleb. This one, I was trying something here. I'm not 100% thrilled with how it came out, but I like it enough to include it because it was just really a unique idea, I think. So he's laying on the floor here. He's not leaning against a wall. He's laying on the floor. And then I have him lifting his head up so it looks like he's looking down, but he's actually doing like a crunch. You know how you do crunches? So I took that one. And then he's actually standing up holding the fabric, like this sparkly fabric here that's holding these clocks. He's holding them, and so I can take photos of them. And then I would change the dials for each picture. So he got really involved in this one, and I think that's part of why I love it so much, was he was really into it. So this one was a lighting experiment. I was experimenting with high key lighting. If you don't know what that is, it's creating a very, very overexposed background while properly lighting your subject. It's not easy to do. It requires a lot of planning and a lot of equipment. And so I was practicing. This one is one of the best ones I've ever done. I love how this came out. And then the next photo is another one, which I really like because I just love that finger on the cheek. That's so adorable. And this is the last one that I included. This is Lachlan. We were in Minneapolis on a photo walk with some friends of mine. And we had gone to this really sketchy part of town. Like, I don't know the cities very well at all because obviously we're transplants. We're not from here. But this area, it totally reminded me of like South Phoenix. I know I have some digital planner friends who are from Phoenix. You guys know South Phoenix. This is what it reminded me of. But I loved, absolutely loved. This was under a bridge. It was an overcast day, so the lighting was fantastic. And I loved how all the graffiti and all the trash, all the blankets from where the transients were, it all just totally contrasts with this little innocent kid just standing there. And this is still one of my favorite photos. So there we go, guys. These were not all of my favorites, but I'm not going to torture you with 700 pictures. But hopefully these will give you guys kind of a clue of my background, I guess, my creative background, because this is where I come from. There's a lot of stuff that I'm average at, but I feel very strongly, I feel really confident in my photography. You know, I can see an image in my head and I can make it happen. And I just love that because it does not always happen when I'm drawing. I think having this background is making my design career a lot easier for me. So, okay, I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.